Hi, everyone. I'm Bianca Caban. I'm a vice president at HSBC Innovation Banking. And I want to thank you so much for coming to our event. We know there's a lot going on this week. You could have been at literally 100 other events. So we're really grateful that you chose to be here with us. And we're going to have an awesome panel shortly with a happy hour following. And we'll get to enjoy the view and the amazing weather. But before we begin, I want to thank our partners at A16Z Tech Week, Katya, Shrikala, Rose, and Tracy. Thank you so much for your tireless work in putting on this Tech Week and all the ones that we've done together and all the ones that we will do together. So let's give it up for the A16Z Tech Week team. Woo! Awesome. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to A16Z's speedrun team as well, led by Andrew Chen. We had the opportunity to kind of check out the program earlier today, the demo day, and it was really impressive. So if you're a founder and you're sort of interested in the program, I definitely recommend checking it out. If you apply now, you'll be considered for the batch that is towards the end of next year. So definitely check out speedrun. A bit about myself. I joined HSBC. I was a VC before that for 4 years, mostly investing in AI applications. And then before that, I was employee 10 at a fintech unicorn. And the reason why I joined HSBC is because I was really inspired by the team's vision, the founding team's vision to build a banking solution for startups by people who actually have lived the startup and venture experience. And I think the combination of sort of venture expertise and global scale is pretty rare. And so it's been really fun to support the team in helping to bring their vision to life over the past year and a half. And with that, I want to welcome to the stage Alex Choy, who's a managing director at HSBC Innovation Banking. He leads our enterprise software team, and he has a 17-year-long career in venture and banking. 8 years spent at SVB, and he's one of the founding team members of HSBC Innovation Banking. So please welcome Alex Choy to the stage. Awesome.
Thank you, Bianca. We've got an awesome panel for everyone today. Maybe I'll do a quick intro and get the panel up here to get started. So if you guys want to come up here and take a seat with me. Maybe just to kick off, you've probably seen clips or perhaps even created your own from Sora 2, OpenAI's latest text-to-video model that's generating scenes that look like they were shot on location rather than being generated by silicon. It's the newest model in what's a dizzying stretch of innovation in generative media. Every week there's a new model pushing boundaries, turning simple text prompts into cinematic clips, music videos, and surreal worlds that feel like it's one step away from real. I'm still not convinced that clip of Sam Altman stealing GPUs from Best Buy is fake, so if anyone can verify that, let me know. It's thrilling, but it also raises big questions. Beyond the creativity, what's the infrastructure that makes all of this possible? How do we deliver real-time inference for these massive models, and what needs to exist behind the scenes to make these systems accessible, scalable, and reliable? That's exactly what we're here to unpack today, and I can't think of a better group of three to do it. Adam Brown is the co-founder of Mux. He spent the last decade building the developer-first video infrastructure that powers much of the internet streaming layer. Berkay Gur is the co-founder of Fal. He's building inference backbone for the generative media landscape and helping developers and creators run these new large-scale AI workloads efficiently and affordably. And last but not least, Jennifer Lee from Andreessen, who's investing across this entire stack from the creative tooling to the infrastructure and trying to figure out where that durable value is in this new era. So give it up for our panel. We're gonna dive right into it. So Jennifer, this first one's for you, and then Berkay, Adam, feel free to jump in. Why are we seeing so many more providers, model builders in the image video space than in LLMs? Is this a temporary divergence, or are there structural reasons why that's happening?
Yeah, it's a great question. First, thank you so much for coming to our events tonight and taking the time out of your busy day. This question is one of my favorites because people are always making a comparison of like image video models to large language models, where we're already seeing this like oligopoly, maybe like duopoly dynamic of OpenAI and Anthropic, but with like image and video, you just constantly see like new model launches. If you go on Fal, there are like 400 and more models launched in the past just short 2 years. And the reason behind that, I think, like if you think about your like entertainment stack, you don't just watch a movie from a single director. And when I think about these models, like they're kind of like each model is trained by a different director. It has different characteristics, like whether they're short, they're A-roll, B-roll, they're focusing on characters, they're focusing on scenes. Like it's just very different characteristics of models. And we're not even talking about like performance latency and like resolution, like a lot of these other dynamics. It's just pure on the creative value. Model builders are really tailored and infusing their own tastes and characters into the models itself. On the image side, we're investors in Ideogram and BFL. Like, Ideogram is very focused on graphic design, like composition of how like this, words or like characters are fitting on sort of a one-to-one ratio of a square. And BFL is very good at, characters and like open source models. And on the video side, I mean, Gorkem will probably talk more about it. Like Sora 2 is very interesting to like cameo and mix matching sort of your friends and so on. But we also have, Veo 3 that's really, really high quality, like video that's very accurate, like following of the prompts. So you just get a lot of different characters. And I think that will continue just because for creatives, the more and the more control and the more like diversity of these models, the better for their creation.
Yeah, I guess I can add to maybe on like more the technical side. There's some technical reasons why image and video models are just more fragmented. One of the key reasons is that, well, turns out image and video models, well, mostly image, video to a certain extent, are actually much cheaper to train than language models. So you can have more teams training these models and hence the diversity. And the other reason has to do with the generalization of these models. Currently, there hasn't been any models that is like attempted to kind of solve all of the different things you may want to do with image and video. So and these diffusion models and some of these models are, and most of these models are built as diffusion transformers. They tend to be very good at solving very particular tasks, and there's a lot of very specific tasks that you want to do with image and video. Like one good example is like removing a background of an image. Like like famously like GPT image model is like very bad at that, right? Or like character consistency, it's very bad at that. And there's sort of this trade-off between like generalization and being able to do something very specific with the model. And turns out a lot of the use cases want to get to like 100% in those like very specific use cases. And that's a very big reason for the diversity in models. So, just wanted to kind of like focus on the technical side as well. But yeah, there's many market and demand reasons for it as well that Jennifer already like illustrated. So.
Makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if I can say much about like the generation side. Most of where we're integrating with these kind of models is more on the inference or like computer vision side, where we see a lot of these unique use cases around content identification or computer vision. Think like workflows like moderation. Like everybody has their own moderation needs and really specific tunings, where you just see kind of a proliferation of different ways to integrate and build those models. So that specialization really kind of hits home.
Yep.
No, that's great. Gorkem, this next one's for you. Obviously, there's a proliferation of models that are happening, and I know that the team's been very intentional about building sort of scalable, reliable infrastructure from the beginning. That's sort of been a day 01 goal for you all. But how do you think about sort of building that great infrastructure versus reacting to the latest Sora model, the latest Veo model?
Sure.
And then bonus points if you want to share a time where that's sort of, you've had to react very quickly to something that's launched in the last few weeks or so.
Yeah, so I guess like just to zoom out, I'll give you a quick pitch on what Fal is. If you don't know, Fal is a generative media platform. So we actually host the open source and closed source models that is available in the content generation space. So anything that can do text to image, text to video, video understanding, even audio. That's within our purview. And you don't know anything? Okay, so Fal. So yeah, Fal. This is what Fal is. And if you're building any applications that has content, you would basically you can't hear anything? Okay. Well, is there? Yeah. Is there a way to turn these up?
The volume a little bit. And then maybe for the people in the back, let's just pause for like 20 minutes and we'll wrap. We'll have plenty of time to.
There's plenty of time to chat afterward. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. How about now? Still not good?
Wait for a minute.
Okay. Do you want to come to the front? There's
There,
like
we got some seats here.
Front, so you're very welcome to join us here. How about people on that end? Can you hear? Okay, good.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's restart
Continue.
from the fall pitch.
How about now? Can you hear us?
All right.
Better? All right.
Okay,
We're gonna go for it.
I'll start from the beginning. So should I also rephrase the question?
Please. however you want to answer.
So the question was, the space is moving really fast. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be built to host these open source models, but at the same time, there's a lot of like closed source models coming out. And I think Adam's questions to Fal specifically, like, because we host all of these models, how do you balance between building like durable infrastructure as opposed to like reacting to the market? So that's the question. So Fal is a place where you can access all these models and build great applications. So people build, productivity applications, design, marketing applications, AI generated ads, movies, everything. So and the way I look at this is that like these two things go hand in hand very much. I think the space is moving so fast that we have to do both at the same time. So we both have to build great infrastructure at the same time, keep up with the market, because a lot of our customers want the latest and greatest model, like to be able to access that day zero. And that's something that we're very good at. And that's like one of the reasons people like to work with us, because it's a pretty chaotic market with all the fragmentation. So we're bringing some order to this chaos. And with respect to like infrastructure, and we can talk much more about that with Max as well, is that it's AI generated, generative video and image infrastructure is like still very early days. Like a lot of this is very much rendered on GPUs. Historically, image and video is like sold by very mature kind of parts of the infrastructure stack, like CDNs. So this is like brand new territory, and we're trying to basically all figure it out and scale to meet all the demand basically for generated content. Anything to add?
Yeah, I can build onto the actual like model agnosticism in a way. Like Mux, so I should say what Mux does. Mux is video streaming infrastructure and analytics for developers. So we handle the incoming video file or live stream, all the kind of transcoding and CDN delivery, and then making it all kind of prepared for the player as well, including like metadata like captions and all those kind of things like that. So it's really about tying together that full experience from the file, whether it's AI generated or not, out to the end user and building great experiences around it. So we've done a bit of a hybrid approach here, where the priority number one is being able to integrate externally with other models. So this is things like thumbnail extraction APIs, like audio extraction, where you can run those cheaply into an external model, your model of choice. And then in certain cases, we'll take, say, captions, where we'll run models ourselves for one version of captions. But always priority is let customers choose the right model infrastructure or the right partner there for running that generation of content and getting it back into the system for bringing it all the way to the end user.
I think maybe just hitting on one piece of how early we are in this new infrastructure is like we're still very much in understanding the model capability phase. It's like one of the reasons why Sora 2 launch is such a success is like we just start to understand how we can put a character in the video and have consistent output from a model. And that's far from now we're just like watching YouTube every day of just like having large scale streaming service to deliver that to your personal device and your computers. Like from just like single user experience and having that generation to that scale, I think we still have a few years away, and that requires a ton of infrastructure build out and maturity.
So we're still at the beginning of the gold rush, and you guys are providing the pickaxes and the shovels. We know where the gold is, but maybe not quite sure where it's at yet. Maybe moving on, if we imagine sort of Fal's inference layer working alongside Mux's video infrastructure, what does that future look like? Are we moving towards sort of a combined development platform, or will those remain sort of parallel worlds? Adam, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. I mean, I kind of just touched on this a little early, but yeah, I mean, we're trying to be the pipes for video to get to AI, right? So we'll provide the infrastructure to work with your video to pull out the pieces that AI needs, makes it really cost effective. I mean, that's something that, gosh, we're starting to see that today, people struggling with that, particularly at scale of user-generated content or AI-generated content. It's easy, to generate one video and then, put it in storage and get it delivered. But when you're doing this hundreds, thousands, millions of videos a month, right, it starts to get really challenging to manage that content pipeline, to manipulate all of the metadata, work with that metadata, and actually connect it all the way out to the end user reliably, and build that full end experience. So, to the original question, like, yeah, I think we're going to continue to like build that infrastructure that is those pipes to these like inference providers. Fal is being a really great example of that.
Yeah, I think I would add to that, like, I don't have like a background in, video, like this traditional video infrastructure, but my assumption is that, there's a lot of one to N, like kind of, one video gets uploaded and, it has to be distributed to, millions and maybe hundreds of millions of people, right? And I think what this AI content enables is a more, call it M to N, like many more videos being generated. I think it's very interesting to see like where that takes us in terms of like the infrastructure needs. I think there's definitely going to be a lot more demand on like GPUs, which are rendering this content. But I think like it plugs in very well because there's still going to be a one-to-end portion of it. I think many AI generated content still, like you'll probably see on your feed, it's not fully custom yet, fully, let's say, on-demand generated. But there's definitely a world, I don't know how soon that is, but like there's a world where, all video is like on-demand generated at the limits, right? So that poses more challenges. But I think there's a lot of overlap until we get there.
Yeah, I think like even before the generative AI video, we were already trending in an interesting new direction with like the TikTok style user-generated content. I would say like that technical world is not solved from either like a pure integration point or from a cost perspective, and it just gets more and more difficult with more video getting produced. So I mean that's really where we're focused, is making that full pipeline robust and able to handle even if it is one-to-one video at the end of the day. There's a lot of challenges, networking, storage, and all of that. To still be to be handled.
This is a free for all, so whoever wants to grab it, go for it. Jennifer, you mentioned it's early days. What primitives are still missing when it comes to sort of existing hybrid generative video, and functionality wise, what are you seeing that's sort of being built to bridge the gap, or what are you looking for?
I think there are quite a few primitives missing. One is just like to really realize the end-to-end sort of dynamic, you need quite a bit of personalization and understand. Like TikTok is so successful because it's trained algorithm to be so good at predicting what you like and want to watch next. But for a lot of these Gen AI videos, like all the context is in the prompt, but there's so much you can bring into the model to give it more context to generate like a much more vibrant and more relevant video or image. Like that I think is a pretty critical missing piece of where we can really just enhance the model context and give it a better go at the generation. Now it's just like every one of us like typing prompts like 50 times to get that one video very well. I think a lot of the real-time sort of premise is not really fulfilled yet. There was quite a bit of interest and momentum like maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and there is a bit more of that right now. Like put yourself in sort of a gameplay, like have a real-time sort of video feed. But there's just a lot of use cases you can imagine coming out of that for both gaming, but also for real-time sort of entertainment. It's still, I think, both infrastructure level and also the primitives is not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I think consistency was a big problem. It seems to have been partially solved with like maybe image editing models. Like that was a big breakthrough actually, where every video clip you would generate would be like 5 seconds of whatever that prompt gave you, right? And if you want to have like another scene, you wouldn't be able to do that. And turns out like image editing models were a good way to sort of solve that problem, or like a stopgap solution, right? Where you can actually have, give an image and say, hey, like create this other scene, but keep the style. And like the model does a pretty good job. But I think like humans are very tuned to just like understanding like which world a video comes from. So like if you're watching like a cartoon or a movie, there's a certain aesthetic, right? Like, so I think, and that permeates through not just like, it's not just style, it's also like characters, how they move, how they, communicate with each other. So there's this kind of like world understanding of video models that is like not there yet. And there's like decent solutions to it, but I think like probably video models or like world models will solve this problem because these are the things that start mattering in like narrative and like, maybe like slightly longer form content. And so this is going to enable these kind of improvements, going to enable like basically how good the quality of the videos are, which will drive more adoption eventually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a world where like the models can understand a little bit more around the world, or like instances of worlds where you can just kind of direct the whole generation towards like one particular world.
Yeah, I have like a half question for you in this, and like a half statement. I think like right now, like as more professional use cases for AI generated video are coming online. Like one of the things I don't see a lot about is dealing with more like cinematic formats, things like 5.1 audio, HDR. Like there's a whole world of like of video technology challenges that people have come to expect that are just, as far as I'm concerned, not being touched on by Gen AI today. But I don't think there's any technical blocker to getting there with the world models and things like that. But I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah. We're definitely not there. And I think like researchers and companies have done a very good job trying to distill like the what will sell, right? Like what will get people excited. And there is actually like very big kind of compute challenges in order to have like these, multi-channel, higher resolution, all this stuff. So like they've actually like somehow made the right trade-offs to get something exciting in front of people and build this iteratively. I think that was actually very smart. I think like to get to like from 2K to 4K, like it's probably like, I don't know, 4x, not even 4x, it's probably more compute. Like it kind of scales like quadratically or something. So it is definitely bound by like, the underlying infrastructure, how much compute we're willing to burn on training these models. So that's I think it's extremely exciting. Like we're, early days.
Well, maybe just a quick impromptu one. How far away are we from seeing sort of that first full motion cinematic movie sort of make it into theaters, make it to the Oscars?
Yeah, I mean, one thing we like to say at Fal is like, we see the opportunity not in like the long form movies. We see so much opportunity in like these new forms, like new short forms or like new interactive types of content. So we see a lot of opportunity there because like, how many movies do we watch anymore, right? Like per year.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So attention span's not quite there for that.
Yeah. So we like to enable a lot of this like, new net new use cases, which is very exciting. But with that said, I think there's amazing creators out there that will probably also, make some really epic long form content, and like I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think the question implies like we want to see a movie end-to-end generated by a model, but we're probably already seeing a movie has a lot of parts of Gen AI in it, whether it's audio dubbing, whether it's like specific scene, whether it's some of the, placement of products. Like I know for a fact that, Netflix or like Disney, they're like using a lot of the Gen AI technology in their production.
Yeah.
And we're just going to see more and more of that to, bring the cost down of production, like speed up sort of the innovation and volume until we get sort of full movie end to end.
It's a great point. Jennifer, a question for you from the investor perspective. There's a number of great founders in the room today. So this question around sort of durability, especially when things are moving so fast through the landscape. How do you check for that? How do you evaluate for that? And sort of with that same lens, what advice would you give to first-time founders in the room?
Yeah, I think speed has always mattered for startups. It just matters way more now. That's speed for keeping up with the market, like innovating on top of it, pivoting too. Like I know like people here on the stage probably have gone through a few of those. Like the market is shifting so quickly. Like we can't predict what's happening the next day. Like a lot of people sort of expect, oh, OpenAI is just gonna wipe out so many categories. I don't think that's the case. Like there are so many exciting use cases, verticals you can go into, just deeply understanding the workflow and understand the trade-offs of the technology. Like no technology is perfect. There are all these quirks that we'll have to like figure out and understand how the models work, how much like consistency, predictability there is, and working through that, like shipping fast and quickly to just like try to meet the demand of where the market is lacking. I think that's probably one of the strongest modes I can say, because there's not a lot of durable modes these days, given the landscape is shifting so quick. It's only really just the adaptation and execution speed.
Adam, Berkay, what advice do you have for first-time founders? And then maybe a San Francisco specific one. What's your favorite part about building in San Francisco?
I mean, maybe I'll combine those two together, make these on myself. I mean, I just think back, like I moved to San Francisco in like, well over 10 years ago, like 12, 13 years ago. And it was like, that was an interesting, like exciting time in San Francisco with like, there was a lot of new applications being built. There was a lot of excitement. There was a lot of events like this. And this will be a little bit preaching to the choir right now, but like, I feel like that went away for a little while, both for some very real reasons, but like the pandemic, but also like the economic reasons. But like it feels back right now, and it's like getting out and like being able to meet people at an event like this is like one of the most empowering and important things that we did early on in the company. And so like just don't sit at home, right? Like get out there and be part of this right now.
Yeah, I mean, these guys said it best. I guess. Yeah, AI is such a big shift in the market that like it just it's changing a lot of things. So that is a very good opportunity, I think, to come in and build in an area where like there's a lot of change and you can really shape things, right? I think one of the like awesome things about building a startup is that if you're in a space where you can just kind of dictate what that space should go towards, right? And assuming you're making the right decisions, of course, like the market needs to react to this. But I think it's a very good opportunity to go in and try to build something in an open space. I think AI enabled a lot of like open spaces where things are in flux, and that seems like a very good. I know it's very high level, but like. I think it's definitely worked for us. So,
yeah.
When we started, like, we didn't know there was going to be a generative, media boom. And we slowly like navigated ourselves towards it. So yeah. And yeah, San Francisco is amazing. If you don't live here, you should move here. And yeah, this is where it's at. This is where Jennifer lives. You can go pitch to her. You can go pitch to all the great investors here. I think the ecosystem's really here. Like San Francisco is going strong. I've lived here for, I don't know, 15 years, I think, close to. I didn't stay through pandemic. Maybe you did. So I'm not a purist San Franciscan, but like, it definitely feels like it's back. So yeah, lots to build here.
You're adding to the Gen Z model, which is you can just do things and do it in San Francisco.
Yes, you can just do things.
That's awesome. That's the ethos of a lot of San Francisco and has been for a long time. Maybe sort of the future state. If you fast forward 5 or 10 years, what is something that you're excited about seeing, whether it's in Gen Media for entertainment, education, commerce, and maybe as a bonus, like what's getting in the way of that being built faster than 5 or 10 years from now? Whoever wants to wants to take it.
I can give a first stab. I think we're still limited by a lot of compute. If the compute is cheaper, if you have more, I think you'll see faster pace of innovation. And I think there's also maybe a bit more of like excitement for like new stuff, but like really realizing the gains we have had in the last 18 months of like all these amazing models, how to put them together to build very tangible products. Like this is a very boring use case, but I was going through it today. I'm trying to make a deck look great. It's like black background, white words on it. I just want it to look nice. And I still need a designer to go in and fix it. Like it's literally pixel editing still. Like we have the technology so good at pixel editing.
Yes.
But you can't just like upload a deck and say, give me the visual that is appealing to everybody. And as humans, we're so conditioned on like well-presented content. Even though we can read words, we can understand it, but how it's presented matters so much on how we're receiving that content. And that should be like a very powerful like money-making use case, but we don't have it yet. I mean, I know there are companies like Gamma is working on it, but we're still far from, making these things very easy for like a lot of the consumers, a lot of knowledge workers. So I'm looking forward for that.
Yeah, I can add on there. I think that is like the most exciting and frustrating thing about AI right now. It feels like the tools are so good at their specific task, and putting them together are really difficult. Like I think on some horizon, I don't know if it's 1, 2, or 10 years, like the kind of personalized video feeds and like hybrid kind of remixing of content. It feels both so accessible right now and so far away from a pure workflow perspective. We've got a lot of customers using like analytics data from the end to say, this segment of video is the most popular. How do we chop that up, remix it, like reorganize it? And that is starting to happen. And that's really exciting, but like actually getting that productionized is going to take a little time.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't ask for anything. I think it's already like things are moving way too fast. It's too much. I think like one of the things is that, I mean, I think there's a lot of like unknowns, right? Like I think it would be good to have some predictability, but I think that's also part of that's part of the fun, right? And we're in this space where I don't know. I don't want to get too philosophical, but like we're all trying to figure it out, and it feels like we're at the cusp of something very, very interesting, and I just hope that we'll figure it out. I'm very optimistic about how we can use all this technology for good. So yeah, but yeah, I don't need anything else to accelerate. I think we're going fast enough.
That seems like a really good place to end it. Thank you to all of you for limiting your conversations. I know that there's a lot of exciting people that you want to chat with, but now you have ample time for it. A quick round of applause for our panelists. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Alex.